What's up everyone, welcome to today's video, welcome to the GamerDad channel, thank you very much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about why I think a Division 3 is coming. This is going to be my last video for a minute based on this topic unless something comes to light. And I think one of the biggest things that many of us have talked about and cited is the fact that there are so many people who've already installed the Division as a whole. About 40 million is the number that Ubisoft cited. There are also a plethora of developers within Massive who are capable of working on 3 projects since Avatar is now, in my opinion anyways, winding down its development. Also, the fact that Ubisoft Bucharest is in charge of the Division 2, a second largest studio within Ubisoft's ranks, and having the expertise and the knowledge gives me a little bit more confidence that a project will be working on. Now, in terms of a timeline, you can already basically look at the Division 2. The Division 2 was born out of Ubisoft pretty much jumping on a sequel a few weeks, according to the rumors we heard, after the Division 1. And if you look at the release of the Division 2, it is not unlikely to follow that hypothesis because the Division 2 came out exactly 3 years after. A huge turnaround to make a game of this nature and pretty much bring it to the market. That, in my opinion, was such an amazing feat if you were to ask me. But today I wanted to go with one final aspect of this entire conversation that we haven't necessarily cited in regard to this conversation. And that is the fact that Ubisoft and Massive have remained silent on this particular issue. Nothing has been said, nothing has been confirmed, neither has anything else been denied. Now, this is the biggest part of the conversation because if many may think that, oh, perhaps Ubisoft is not going to say anything, well, I think in today's day and age, it is actually very different in the way that we actually, pursue these video game news and, happenings, because video game companies have been coming out in the past few years to actually deny things that they're not working on so that fans don't get the wrong expectation. Because when these rumors start to fly, and if these rumors start to fly, it can create some kind of a, weird expectation, and fans may be disappointed, and it could hurt future projects that these companies are, in a sense, working on. So I'm going to be showing you a few examples. This is EA's Battlefield. Pretty much DICE is coming out and, basically EA is saying that, the rumor that DICE is using a skeleton crew and has moved to another development of the next Battlefield game, they came out and they pretty much are denying that it's not true. So they're not the only ones to do it in the industry anyways. I'm going to show you Stefan Hill's own denial. Stefan Hill in 2018 came out on Twitter before the Game Awards and denied that they were making a Superman game. This one's kind of interesting though, because even though they weren't making a Superman game, they're literally making a game with Superman in it. So the rumors were actually floating. I even made a video on my other channel. It was one of the first videos I ever made on that channel saying that I thought it was a Superman game based on the rumors and the credibility of some of the sources that had leaked the information, only for Stefan Hill to come out basically, around that time saying it's not a Superman game. But again, like I said, he's making a video game with Superman in it. Nintendo themselves denied that they had a 4K Switch in development. This is something people were floating around. 443 Studios denied as well this year in January that Halo development is going to be pretty much something else that they're moving away from their studio. So this is something, and Ubisoft themselves have also come out at one point in time, more recently, August of last year, to deny the rumors that they were making a Blade game. So many studios do this. You can just go on Google and you can start to look up studios that pretty much go ahead and do this. And if you look at Ubisoft, they just said, sorry to slice up the rumors, we're not making a Blade game, but we can't wait to see what our friends at Marvel Studios are cooking up next year. So I went ahead and I threw out an experiment. I put out a tweet. I said, Ubisoft Massive, can you categorically rule out the development of another Division game? Are you able to put the rumors to rest just as Ubisoft did with the Blade video game rumor? Thanks, a Division fan. One of my audience members, XC's a Star, says, they don't win anything answering this question at all. I know they don't win anything answering this question at all. So they might as well just maybe not say anything. And then perhaps maybe we have a case in our hands that they're more than likely working on something. Or maybe they come out to categorically deny it and say, Heartland is our next project and we have a future for the Division 2. That way everybody knows what's going on. But I don't think they're probably going to do it. I think they're probably going to leave that tweet to rot in, the lack of anybody seeing it. And they're probably going to come out with their announcement for the game when it's ready. And so this is one thing that I wanted to go ahead and put out here because I think for the longest time, a lot of people have been talking past the obvious, which is they haven't said anything. They usually are very quick to set expectations, by the way. I don't know if many of you know, Ubisoft Massive and even Ubisoft as a whole has engaged itself in being as clear as it can with the communities that it's serving, because for the most part, players can drum up all kinds of, expectations that are probably not there. If you even remember early this year, Julian Garrity saw that one of his tweets was being, in a sense, misinterpreted and came out to provide some more clarity. This is not something that you're not going to be seeing, and so we must pay attention to this. In fact, he came out and said, "This seems to have sparked quite some interest. To be clear, I meant that 2023 will be huge for our teams building our game, which you could be part of. For official news, keep an eye on Ubisoft." This is where he basically wished a Happy New Year and said, "Happy New Year to you all. 2023 is going to be huge for us. Join the adventure." And he put the Star Wars image there. So basically, all he was doing here was just inviting people to come in and just, tag in and follow the news. But then there are like 5 zillion videos that said the Ubisoft Star Wars game is going to be immersive. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Like, yo, we already know that Massive makes immersive games. I mean, I have footage of one of them right here. In fact, this mission, if you check out for like 2 seconds and not immerse thyself, you're going to be fodder for the enemy NPC. So those of us within Massive's pipeline, we kind of saw those articles and, well, for most of us anyways, and thought, well, there's nothing new here. We would just like to know specifically better details surrounding this. So I guess the ball is in the court of Ubisoft Massive and Ubisoft to see how they're going to go ahead and approach this. But let me go ahead and give you a realistic picture because, like I said, I like to be a realist. The Division Heartland is the next project that they're working on. I think that project is designed to provide a little bit of a buffer before this Division, AAA title is even mentioned or alluded to. So they're probably not going to say anything right now. This is just my guess. Who knows? They may go ahead and say, "Nah, we're not doing any Division, project." And then fans are going to be like, "Really? You're not going to do anything next?" So I know it's one of those very interesting situations where truly they don't win anything by answering the question. But still, as long as it's not been denied, I don't think we can pretty much rule it out just yet. We can go with the evidence that we have, that there are a bunch of Division players, that right now the Division is in a technical area where if you were to maybe want to expand the world, there'll be technical difficulties. And if you wanted to add DLC, it's probably also going to be very challenging to do as well because there are not necessarily a lot of people that are playing the game right now. So to spend the investment in adding DLC is not going to be as profitable as building a new game that is able to bring back a lot of interest and probably use that game as your destiny to continue to expand upon the world, but this time doing it in a way where there are not any delays and things are actually set up properly. I'll get out of here. Thank you very much for indulging me all of these past few days, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Division, this time the Division 2, technical issues, and I'll show you guys some of my fun builds and why I use them. And once I get to Shade Level 1000 on one of my accounts, I guess those are more exciting things to do. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.